Imagine, if you can, the perfect Christmas morning. The air is crisp, the tree twinkles with 1,000 lights, and the joyful anticipation of gifts fills the air. Now, shatter that image. Replace it with the bone-chilling silence of a missing child, a cryptic ransom note, and the dawning horror that Christmas Day would forever be etched in history, not with carols and cheer, but with a profound, agonizing mystery. This is the story of JonBenét Ramsey, a 6-year-old girl whose tragic death didn't just break a family, it sent shockwaves through America, exposing the raw nerves of justice, media sensationalism, and the enduring human quest for truth. This isn't just a crime story, it's a social phenomenon, a puzzle piece forever missing from our national conscience. The affluent, picturesque city of Boulder, Colorado, on December 26, 1996, woke to a nightmare. For the Ramsey family, John, a successful businessman, Patsy, a former beauty queen, and their 2 children, Burke and JonBenét, Christmas had been a celebration, followed by a quiet evening at home. But the morning light brought no joy. Patsy Ramsey descended the stairs just before 6 a.m., her heart sinking as she found a 3-page handwritten note on the kitchen staircase. It wasn't a Christmas card. It was a ransom demand. The note, astonishingly long and detailed, claimed to be from a small foreign faction. It demanded $118,000 for the safe return of JonBenét. The specific amount, John Ramsey later revealed, was the exact amount of his Christmas bonus. This peculiar detail would later become one of many unsettling facets of a case destined to baffle and frustrate. The immediate reaction was chaos. Patsy, distraught, called 911, her voice trembling with terror. "We have a kidnapping," she wailed to the dispatcher. "Please, please, please." The dispatcher, concerned by Patsy's frantic state and the lack of a clear description of the events, instructed her not to disturb the scene. But the scene, tragically, was already in flux. Friends arrived, offering comfort and support, inadvertently walking through and touching areas that would later be critical for forensic analysis. A neighbor even helped tear paper off a doorframe. In the fog of panic and fear, the concept of crime scene preservation was lost. Boulder police arrived, and the initial response was predicated on a kidnapping scenario. Officers searched the house, but not with the meticulousness of a homicide investigation. They believed JonBenét was gone, taken by an external force. However, as the hours ticked by and no further contact came from the supposed kidnappers, an ominous cloud began to descend. Around 1 p.m., John Ramsey, following a suggestion from a detective, began a more thorough search of the house himself, starting in the basement. It was there, in a seldom-used wine cellar room, that he made the horrific discovery. JonBenét's body was found, covered by a white blanket, with tape over her mouth and a cord around her neck. Her wrists were bound. The kidnapping, it was now chillingly clear, had never been a kidnapping at all. It was murder. The discovery irrevocably shifted the case. What began as a desperate search for a missing child transformed into a perplexing homicide investigation, plagued from its inception by a compromised crime scene. The police, initially treating it as an abduction, had allowed family friends and even members of the Ramsey household to move freely through the property, potentially destroying or contaminating crucial evidence. This early misstep would dog the investigation for decades, fueling theories and debates about what might have been preserved had proper protocols been followed. The autopsy revealed JonBenét died from strangulation and a skull fracture. There was also evidence of sexual assault. The horrific details only deepened the shock and horror surrounding the case. A child beauty queen, known for her sparkling smile and elaborate costumes, had met a brutal end within the supposed sanctuary of her own home. The ransom note itself became a central, bewildering piece of evidence. Its unusual length, its dictatorial tone, and the specific monetary demand all raised questions. It was written on a pad of paper found in the Ramsey home, with a pen also from the house. This led many to believe the note was an inside job, written by someone within the household. The handwriting analysis became a significant investigative avenue, with Patsy Ramsey emerging as a prime suspect due to similarities between her handwriting and that on the note. However, definitive conclusions were never reached, and experts offered conflicting opinions. From the outset, the media descended upon Boulder with a voracious appetite. JonBenét's beauty queen image, coupled with the family's wealth and the bizarre circumstances of the crime, created a sensational story that captivated the nation. The Ramseys, initially portrayed as grieving parents, soon found themselves under intense scrutiny and, in the court of public opinion, often treated as suspects. Their reluctance to submit to immediate, extensive interviews without legal counsel, while understandable for a family reeling from tragedy, was often interpreted by the media as evasiveness or guilt. The focus of the investigation quickly narrowed to the Ramsey family. The lack of forced entry into the home led investigators to consider the possibility that the perpetrator was someone known to the family or someone who had access. John, Patsy, and their 9-year-old son Burke were all scrutinized. Burke, present in the house at the time, was initially interviewed, but given his young age, the reliability and scope of those interviews were limited. The parents maintained their innocence, adamantly asserting that an intruder was responsible. The intruder theory faced challenges. Beyond the lack of forced entry, the ransom note's origin within the house and the curious staging of the scene made an outside perpetrator seem less likely to some. However, proponents of the intruder theory pointed to a broken basement window and a possible boot print found outside, suggesting a potential point of entry and exit. They argued that the sheer audacity of someone breaking in, committing murder, and then writing a lengthy ransom note, all within the victim's home, was precisely the kind of bizarre and brazen act a seasoned criminal might attempt to throw off investigators. Forensic evidence, or the lack thereof, became another battleground. DNA samples were collected from the crime scene, including from JonBenét's clothing and fingernails. Years later, advancements in DNA technology allowed for more sophisticated analysis. In 2008, the Boulder District Attorney, Mary Lacey, publicly exonerated the Ramseys based on new DNA evidence believed to belong to an unknown male. This DNA, found on JonBenét's underwear, was deemed to be from an unexplained third party and was critical in shifting the official stance away from the family. However, even this DNA evidence would later be debated, with some experts questioning its significance, suggesting it could be trace DNA from manufacturing or secondary transfer. The unknown male DNA remains a tantalizing but inconclusive lead. The grand jury investigation in 1999 added another layer of complexity. After a 13-month investigation, a grand jury voted to indict John and Patsy Ramsey on charges of child abuse resulting in death and being accessories to a crime. However, the district attorney at the time, Alex Hunter, declined to sign the indictment, stating there was insufficient evidence to secure a conviction. This decision sparked outrage and further fueled public speculation and distrust, creating a chasm between official findings and public sentiment. The grand jury indictments remained sealed until 2013, revealing the internal conflicts and disagreements within the legal system regarding the case. The narrative around the Ramsey family was further complicated by the public's perception of pageant culture. JonBenét's participation in child beauty pageants with her elaborate costumes, makeup, and stage presence was sensationalized. Critics argued that such activities exposed young children to an unnatural environment, potentially drawing unwanted attention. This moral debate, while not directly related to the crime itself, became intertwined with the public discourse, adding another layer of judgment to the already scrutinized family. Over the years, numerous documentaries, books, and television specials have attempted to unravel the JonBenét Ramsey mystery. Each production, often driven by new perspectives or previously unreleased information, reignited public interest and debate. The Internet, with its capacity for instant information sharing and community discussion, became a hotbed for amateur sleuths and conspiracy theorists, each offering their own solutions to the perplexing puzzle. The passing of Patsy Ramsey in 2006 from ovarian cancer added another tragic element, silencing a key voice in the investigation and closing off a direct avenue for further questioning. John Ramsey has continued to advocate for answers, pushing for new investigative approaches and the use of advanced forensic techniques to finally identify JonBenét's killer. Burke Ramsey, who settled a defamation lawsuit against CBS for a documentary that implicated him in his sister's death, has also spoken out publicly, maintaining his family's innocence. Nearly 30 decades have passed since that fateful Christmas morning. The initial shock has given way to a persistent ache of unresolved questions. Was it a meticulous intruder, cleverly staging a crime to deflect suspicion? Or was it a tragic accident within the household, mishandled in a desperate attempt to protect a family member? The evidence, or lack thereof, has been interpreted in countless ways, each theory finding fervent supporters and equally fervent detractors. The legacy of the JonBenét Ramsey case extends far beyond the crime itself. It became a crucible for examining the ethics of media coverage, the challenges of prosecuting high-profile cases, and the enduring psychological toll on families thrust into the unforgiving glare of public scrutiny. It highlighted the critical importance of crime scene integrity and the delicate balance between compassion for victims and the imperative of justice. In recent years, the Boulder Police Department has reiterated its commitment to solving the case. They have stated they continue to work with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and the FBI, utilizing advancements in DNA technology and forensic genealogy, hoping that a new lead, a fresh perspective, or a technological breakthrough might finally bring closure. They have also encouraged anyone with credible information, no matter how small, to come forward. The truth, however, remains stubbornly hidden, shrouded in the shadows of a December morning, locked away in the annals of one of America's most enduring and heartbreaking cold cases. JonBenét Ramsey, the vibrant little girl with the captivating smile, lives on in the collective memory as a symbol of innocence lost and justice delayed. Her story serves as a stark reminder that some mysteries, despite our best efforts, continue to defy solution, leaving behind a profound sense of incompleteness and a haunting question that echoes through time. Who killed JonBenét Ramsey? The full scope of this perplexing case, with every piece of evidence, every theory, and every unanswered question, is a deep dive into the labyrinth of American true crime. For more detailed breakdowns of this and other real, documented American mysteries, be sure to subscribe to American Mystery Vault. We are dedicated to exploring these compelling stories, seeking to understand the events that have shaped our history and our collective consciousness. Don't miss out on our next investigation. Hit that subscribe button and join our community.